Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So guys, in this video we will have our discussion on certain important application of nakshatra and especially how to use them effectively while assessing the happening of the events in someone's life. At the time of doing the assessment of someone's ongoing dasha, how to make use of the nakshatra, because nakshatra tend to be the game changer in the art of prediction in Vedic astrology. So guys, first of all, to begin with, this topic came to me only after seeing the response which I got after this recent video which I uploaded on the 7 key features or application of your moon nakshatra. So after that, a lot many people have been asking me that, okay Nipun, when it comes down to the predictions part, okay, nakshatra can be utilized for the rituals, nakshatra can be utilized for the Ishta Devata devotion, muhurat, everything. But when it comes down to the prediction part, over where what kind of role nakshatra plays? So trust me, nakshatra is everything. Behind that zodiac sign, it's the nakshatra only whose result planets give it to you. And guys, primarily in this short video, we will be focusing on the 2 areas. Like I would say, one is going to be the myth and second is going to be a practical application on while doing the assessment or doing a prediction for someone, how can you utilize the nakshatra? So the very first point which I mentioned, it's about breaking the myth. So that is, see, we all know that all the planets, like 9 planets, have got a rulership over 3 nakshatra. For example, Rahu has got a rulership over Adra, Sadbhisha, Swati. Ketu has got a rulership over Ashwini, Magh, Mula. They're like certain planets, like for example, Sun, Jupiter and the Mars. They ruled nakshatra, falls into zodiac sign. So all of that we have already discussed in my playlist. Now over here, the very first myth which I want to break is that there are like certain planets whose nakshatra falls in the signs which are inimical to them. So for example, when we talk about the nakshatra ruled by the planet Saturn, so Saturn has got a rulership over the Pushya nakshatra, Anuradha nakshatra, Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra. So the Pushya nakshatra resides in the Cancer, ruled by moon. Saturn does not get along very well with the moon. Anuradha nakshatra falls in the Scorpio. We all know the relationship of the ruler of the Scorpio, which is Mars, and the Saturn. And also when we talk about Uttara Bhadrapada, which falls in the Pisces, ruled by the planet Jupiter. So over there as well, the relationship between Saturn and Jupiter is not very harmonious. But the point which I'm trying to make over here is that if at a time of doing the assessment of someone's ongoing dasha, a lot many times I've seen this thing that people will see Saturn in the Scorpio, they will not even bother to look at the nakshatra within the Scorpio. Is Saturn in the Anuradha in its own nakshatra or not? And the Navamsa Pada and all, that is a secondary thing. But even looking at the planet in a zodiac sign, you have to take your analysis deeper within. Saturn in the Anuradha has got this capability of giving very good success, and definitely I will bring some more case study reference chart to prove that. As if for now, you just take a random basic layman example of my chart. Even I have Saturn in the Anuradha and it has slowed down things for me, what the innate nature of Saturn is, but it has given me substantial things. Now, the second point over which we will talk about is that a lot many times while doing the assessment of anyone's dasha, we forget and overlook to look at that, okay, whatsoever planet is getting activated in the Antar Dasha, in the Pratyantar Dasha, in which nakshatra that planet is sitting, because somehow the lord of that nakshatra also gets activated. So first of all, we will follow the same example. Let's say for example, in the case of a Aries Lagna, if we will come across that, okay, this person is in the Saturn Dasha, where Saturn is in the 8th house, but in the Anuradha nakshatra holds this potential to give results. Now let's say for example, if in the same example, you will come across that, okay, for the Aries Lagna, in the Saturn Mahadasha, now comes the, for example, the sub period of the planet Jupiter. You will see that, okay, Jupiter is placed in the 4th house. Okay, so 4th house Jupiter for a Aries Lagna, that means it is placed in the Cancer. That means now we are going to be expecting some good results. But let's say for example, if with this same example, for a Aries Lagna in the Mahadasha of a Saturn, which is placed in the 8th house in the Anuradha Nakshatra, Jupiter is exalted in the Cancer in the 4th house, But if it is placed in the Ashlesha Nakshatra, and the lord of the Ashlesha becomes the planet Mercury. Mercury is not a good planet for the Aries Lagna. And Mercury, let's say for example, if it is debilitated in the 12th house in the Pisces, so that means you will be predicting lot many things that okay, during this time you will buy your own house. Okay, that can happen because 12th house also is the like in a way it represents expenses. You might incur expenses on the account of buying a home, but this could also be responsible for losing the job as well. This could also be responsible for some having issues, suddenly some issues at the work as well. So the point which I'm saying over here is that at a time of doing the predictions or doing the assessment, you have to take into consideration that in which nakshatra planet is placed, because in the activated dasha of a planet, somehow the way it gives results is not only dependent on the planet's relationship with your ascendant, planet's relationship with your Mahadasha, planet's relationship and rulership of the houses, but also in which dignity its nakshatra lord is placed in the chart. Now let me give you a second example. Now let's say for example, if in the case of a Gemini Lagna, so for a Gemini Lagna, this person is let's say for example, Gemini Lagna person is in the dasha of the same case, we can take up the case of this person is in the Mahadasha of the planet Jupiter. So Jupiter is placed in the 10th house, it's placed in the Pisces. That's the very first thing. Second thing is that now this person will come into the let's say for example Antardasha of the planet Venus. Now we know this thing that okay, Venus is a good planet for the Gemini Lagna. It has got a like rulership over the 12th house, it has got a rulership over the 5th house. But if this in the Jupiter Mahadasha, which is placed in the 10th house, Venus Antardasha came, Venus is placed in the 12th house. Now, because it is placed in the Taurus, you will be very happy to look at this. But let's say for example, within the Taurus, this Venus is placed in the Rohini. Now, Rohini is being ruled by the planet Moon. Moon is not a very favorable planet for the Gemini Lagna. And let's say for example, if this Moon is placed in the 6th house, it is debilitated as well. So this could be a time that in this Antardasha, suddenly native's lifestyle expenses will shoot up. Suddenly native is going to be incurring a lot of the expenses and lot of debt as well. So here we are not talking about healthy investments. Here we are talking about that suddenly the expenses will skyrocket in the life of the native. So again guys, let me summarize it. We discussed this reference chart out of nowhere that this person who is a Gemini Lagna, he is in the Mahadasha of the planet Jupiter, which is placed in the 10th house in its own sign. The Venus Antardasha came. Venus being a good planet for the Gemini Lagna, being placed in its own sign, Taurus, in the 12th house. But if it is placed in the Rohini Nakshatra, being ruled by the Moon, which is not a good planet for the Gemini Lagna, and it is debilitated in the 6th house, so this Venus will suddenly shoot up the expenses and the debt as well. So this is how guys, you have to make use or you have to implement Nakshatra at the time of assessment of the running time period or Mahadasha or Antardasha as well. Definitely there are like lot many do's and don'ts which goes into it, but ultimately eventually nakshatras always have a final say. So okay friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.